speak at once. Okay.
So I started my business because I had been making jewelry as a hobby, and as many people do, I didn't really think much of it, didn't think it was something that I could, you know, turn into money. I had folks telling me, you know, you should sell these, people will buy them. I tried it once and it worked. So, okay, I'm gonna do this. This is something I love to do. What I found, there's so much to say about this. What I found is, I guess the biggest challenge for me with support from the community is seeing me as, I guess, a reputable, worthwhile business, and not, and I don't wanna say just, but not just the black woman over there selling jewelry. People come up to me and I've heard all sorts of things. And what I think is, would you go into Target and tell them, oh, girl, what just gave me, let me just get this for it. Would you do that at Target? Would you do it at Macy's? And guess what? Like, this money is literally going to funding my life. So, you know, there's a certain level of respect that I think we have to make sure that we're giving to other black businesses. And, you know, and on our side, we have to make sure, you know, that we're providing the quality and not just, oh, you know, that's my girl, she does it. No, you know, we have to be responsible. We have to have integrity. And so, you know, I think it just, there's a commitment that goes to it, like you said, the resolution. And knowing, and as we're sitting here talking, I'm thinking, you know, I still have not bought that toothpaste from that black business that I said I was gonna buy however long ago. And then I think, well, what if it's a little more? Well, guess what? It's worth it. And so I think those are just the commitments that we have to make, and not expecting to get more for less from our people, and sometimes giving more, just because, you know, we're investing in each other.
I find it a bit interesting when it comes to business, because all of my clients in my first business, I have a medical billing company, and I've had a mixture of Caucasian and black doctors that I provide services for. And I realized that I've been shortchanged a lot from my African-American doctors. They put me on the back burner. They tell me, okay, well, I'm in a rut right now and I'm trying to get out of it, and you help me get out of it, but I have this to pay, and I have this to pay, and I have employees, and I have this. I'm the reason why you got out of the hole, so why not take care of the person that's handling your finances first, and then handle everything else? I don't have that with my Caucasian clients. You understand what I'm saying? Like, they pay their bills on time. They don't have no problems with, they don't wanna negotiate my prices. They don't haggle anything that I do. So it's like, okay, I wanna help the black community because that's my purpose. I'm supposed to help. I'm supposed to be here and show my light because I live in love. So with me living in love and putting that out there, putting that energy out there, that's all I'm gonna receive. However, it's a bit harder to receive from our own color because they always want to nickel and dime you. And I don't find that to be fair at all. So I don't, and I know this might sound wrong, however, it is what it is. I majority go after the clients that I know are Caucasian because I know I'm gonna get paid for my services. And then if I get a doctor here and there that is African American, of course I'm only going into that just to help them because of their situation. I'm not going into it to be paid. That's the mindset that I have when it comes to them. Because it's like, okay, here we go, but you know what, this person needs help, so I'm gonna just put this out there and do this for them out of the kindness of my heart, and hopefully they'll do the right thing. I don't have that with the hair company, you know. I've grown to not expect anything from anyone, because that's a problem. We have expectations that people are supposed to do things for us that we're not even doing for ourselves. So I have lost all that. I've thrown fear out the window. I've thrown expectations out the window. And I just present myself as who I am, a person of love, a person that God resides in. So everything that I do blossoms and is fruitful because of the intention that I'm putting into it. So it's just, it kind of bothers me regarding certain things about our community, but it's certain things that makes us feel that way. You know what I mean? Oh, we have to we feel some type of way because, we're not supporting black people. Well, black people are the ones that burn us sometimes when we're doing something out of the kindness of our heart, you know? So it's like a lose, win, you're in the middle, you know what I mean? You don't know which way to turn, left or right. So I understand that this whole blackface thing, but people just don't seem to understand that it's more to life than those brands and those people, and that's just distractions, you know what I mean? We really need to realize what life's about and figure that out and help us each one of us as a whole, as a community. We need to find out what the problem is, fix the problem, instead of talking about it and not doing anything about it. Because it's nothing without any action. So that's how I feel about that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So it sounds like, you think the problem may be, and even you, that we feel entitled to certain things?
I wouldn't use the word entitled. I
Okay.
would say, we just don't know everything, and God forgive those who don't know it all, you understand? So I feel as though we need to educate one another on different avenues, and then we can build as a whole. We can build building blocks with education, with, you know, knowledge on this and knowledge on that. It's just not just one road, it's multiple different roads that we can take to achieve the goal that we want.
Are you educating your consumers that are asking for a break?
Don't even ask me for a break, 'cause if you're asking me for a break, you can't afford my stuff, so I'm not having that conversation. I ignore a lot of things.
But how do we grow? How do we get better?
I agree with a lot of what you're saying, and one of the things that I find, because we have a storefront, so we get it a lot, you know, where people want to underestimate, oh, your prices are too high, and if you go to another, consignment store in Bethesda, Rockville, you know, all the other places, they just whip out their credit card. Be in that community, like we chose to be an African-American community, like we didn't, it would have been more advantageous for us to be around other consignment stores, because if anybody knows a consignment business, most of them stick around because people who shop consignment, they go to multiple locations, so it would have been better for us to be around other consignment stores, but we chose to be in our neighborhood. So when we see that, the first couple of years, we were like, why in the world did we choose this? But over time, what we realized was people only do what you allow.
Exactly.
So when when you entertain that conversation and you say, well, why are your prices too high? Or can I get a discount? And then, you know, especially in the first years, you're like, oh, I need to get a sale. Okay, I'm gonna give you this discount. And you kind of, you know, teeter the line. And I think that teaches them how to treat us. When you teeter on the line and you kind of go against whatever your policies, and you set, once you've decided this is what I'm going to do, unless something, you know, dictates otherwise, you change it. But I think a lot of times we alter, I'll give you a perfect example. There was a lady who came in, and for our high-end pieces, we don't mark down the prices. And we have, once you pay, sorry, I'm trying to make the story short, but I want you to understand. And we pay at the end of each month. This lady called, and she said, I need to come get paid early. And I said, I've been doing this for you for a couple of times now, and it's against our policy, but I've been doing it as a courtesy. I will not extend that courtesy this time. So the next day she showed up. She physically came in, and when I saw her, I'm like, why in the world did she come? Because I told her. So she says, she points out in my contract, she says, well, it doesn't say specifically what you're telling me. So I said, no worries, ma'am. Here's your money. Rest assured that loophole you just found, it will be closed. And I said, from that point forward, I was teetering the line with her. If you have your items and they don't, your expiration date expires today. If she went a couple of days after, I said, oh, no worries. At that point, that taught me, you don't respect my line because I've trained you not to respect my line. So now I'm gonna draw it, and I'm gonna be at the utmost professional. And when people come up in the beginning of the conversation, I think the way you start a relationship is how you finish. So if they start asking for discounts, if they come in with their bag and they say, well, what's the price? What you gonna price at? I'm like, you know what, I think this is probably better off at another place. I don't think this will be a good fit for you, because if you've already established that you don't trust, that you don't have faith in what we do here, this is not the place, and we don't actually need, all money's not good money. So I think sometimes we have to do a better job of training, but it's kinda hard, because you wanna help, like you're in a position to help and give back and do things for your people, you know, not just in, and it's hard, and you make those decisions, and some you grow from, and some scar you, and you're like, I'm never doing it again, but I think a lot of it is an opportunity. And when you hear other people talking about other black businesses, speak up, because one of the things I hear all the time, well, I mean, I'll shop black, but their prices are too high. Well, that's because the other cultures have managed to utilize the economy of scale. That means that they can work with all of the Asian people specifically. The whole family come in, they say, we're gonna buy 10,000 wigs or whatever the thing is, and then that's how they get cheaper prices. Well, African Americans, we typically are working alone. So because we're working alone, we have to buy that $10,000 wig that they got for $50 each. We probably have to pay $75 or $85. So we are eating the cost, which we have to extend. If we want to eat, we have to extend it to the people buying. So our prices are naturally higher, but consumers don't understand that part. They just know at Target or Walmart, who buying their pieces in the billions, their prices are this, and they're comparing your prices. They don't understand the value of buying black and keeping the dollar in our culture. Sorry, one story.
That was awesome.
Can I just say one thing? So when you mentioned entitlement, the first thing that I thought of was, like you said, not necessarily entitlement, but it's more so familiarity and a lack of like respect and value. Because I've had folks, and I've been very, very blessed to have friends who've been supportive, and they've, you know, and I barter like crazy, but like they won't even take the things that I give them. They just want to do it for me. But then there are other folks where, you know, like you said, you do something for them one time, and you set the standard, and they expect it every single time. And people don't see it as oh, that was so nice of her. You know, let me make sure, hey, you did this for me, let me do this for you.
Exactly.
Which, you know, at least in some way would help you feel a little better about it. But it's almost like just wanting to take advantage. And it's sad because, you know, when it comes down to it, you have to think like, what is your intention? You know, what is your end goal? If your goal is to save money and get it quickly, then you're probably gonna go to Amazon. If your goal is to support people who look like you, who maybe have the same goals as you, who ideally will, you know, circulate funds that will somehow impact you, then you purchase differently. So you're not just buying the product, you're buying that trust, you're buying into that community. Like, so maybe you can think of the little upcharge as part of that. You know, maybe that's part of what you're buying versus just the actual product.
Did you think about putting your earrings on Amazon?
Girl, yes, I did. That template is just more than I can deal with.
It's not that hard, and I will help you.
Let's talk.
Okay?
Here we go.
I have my hair on Amazon, and it's very lucrative.
Really?
So you can put your hand in different pots.
Right.
It's just not, you don't put all your eggs in one basket. It's multiple streams of income. That's how we're gonna get about the crab hole. You understand? So we have to have that mindset that, okay, this is more, it's more to what I'm doing right now. It's more to my 9 to 5. And I have to, what do I love? Okay, let me do something that I love that doesn't even seem like work, but it's bringing in an income, and it's making me happy, and it's making me shine so bright that somebody out on the outside is looking and saying, what are you doing differently? I'm feeding myself positivity, and it encourages my mind, where it's putting me out there where I can grow and help my community. We can't just, people are so one-minded or so selfish where they only think about themselves and they don't think about other people. We need to think about each other. And that's what we're lacking, because it's always a competition. We're always competing. What are we competing for? Where the hell are we going? You understand what I'm saying? What are we competing for? We all bring something different to the table. We're all different. So why can't we work as one? The Chinese do it. The Mexicans do it. The white people do it. Why the hell can't we do it? You understand what I'm saying? It's mind-boggling. That's why I stay in the house and I create. And because I can't share my energy because it drains me. I'm on a different frequency, you understand? So it's like, With that being said, it's hard for me to go out and talk to people, and it took a lot for me to do this. Believe me, like, me and my husband got into a huge argument because he's like, what is wrong with you? Why are you afraid of people? And I'm like, I'm not afraid of people, I just don't wanna share my energy. Like, it's
very
everything.
important.
You know, people don't, you know, it's crazy because I had a conversation with a friend about 3 years ago, and we were talking about how energy travels. And at the establishment I was working at the time, there was an altercation with the owners. And it was crazy because you saw the energy just travel throughout the room, where coworkers who were just standing next to each other and brushed against each other the wrong way, now we're like this, they were at each other's throats. And, you know, it's funny because we were talking, and it came up that, you know, you even have to watch what you're reading or listening to or watching on TV before you go to sleep. Because you can wake up the next morning with that same
Energy is
energy.
transferable.
And I didn't think about it. And I like the next week, I watched something on TV, and it was a very sad and somber ending to a TV show that I really liked. And then I woke up the next morning just like,
Feeling some type of way.
yeah, like, yo, he died. I'm hating this day today. And I'm like, it was a TV show. The guy is really alive, but I was really into the show that much. But it just shows you how, you know, people's energy is real. As a matter of fact, this morning, Pastor Jenkins at First Baptist, he made a valid statement. He said, you have to watch who you allow to reach out and touch you.
Amen.
And I sat there, I was like, wow, because I could touch you and I would hope my positive energy channels to you, but what if there's that one negative energy, that one ion, whatever you call it, and now you leave out of here and you're just like, you know, flipping off people on the ride home, you know.
Shower yourself with.
But it's like, even in the world of business, I honestly, if someone's energy isn't right in the conversation, I personally tell them like, look, I don't think this is a business for me. Because if I feel as though they're looking to nitpick on something, and I have had events like that where I knew I was like, I don't think whatever I do, this person's not gonna like this food. They're not gonna like this, they're not gonna like that. I drop the food off, freshly prepared, display is everything. Oh, your wings were too spicy. Well, man, you ordered buffalo wings. You know, it was just, you know, that particular customer went through and nitpicked every single dish. And I'm sitting there like, this is every single dish. And I asked her, I said, well, did your guest enjoy it? She said, yeah. So then how are you calling me asking for a refund? You know, and I just had to tell her, I was like, look, listen, either you can take me to court and we can do this, because I'm not giving this refund up. If your guests ate the food and they all enjoyed it, because I've had several people like my Instagram page as of last night, you know, at that time, I was like, I don't know these people, but I'm pretty sure they came from your event, because your event was the only one I did that weekend. So, you know, there's just that energy now.
I think that when you go into something, though, your thoughts are powerful. So you went into it saying, this lady's gonna find something to be wrong with anything that I do.
Based on our first few conversations.
Okay, so with that being said, right, when you went to that event, you already had those thoughts in your mind.
Right.
Whatever you think, you manifest, you
Right.
create.
That is true.
So if you created that in your mind that she wasn't gonna like it, you just manifest that right then and there.
Right,
So
right.
thoughts are powerful, you have to be careful what you're thinking. Because if you would've went in there and like, she's going to love every dish that I put out here, she would've loved every dish that you put out there. And you gotta go into something thinking like, I'm gonna kill this shoot.
And
I'm
it's
gonna
crazy,
kill this.
because that's how I am now.
Yes.
Because, you know, now it's like, oh, okay, you know, whatever. And I'm like, but you're gonna love this food.
Yes.
You're gonna love it.
Yes.
You're gonna love it.
It's
Even if they're
confidence in
on the
yourself.
fence about something, just listen to me. Just order this, you'll love it. And then after the events, it's like, yo, you were so right. I said, I know. So, like,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
So I heard us talk about, you know, customers that haven't been ideal. Now, can we all ask ourselves, have we always been the ideal customer?
No, I haven't, but I've learned from that. And I've learned from my mistakes, but I've been nasty. I've been a nasty individual at times in my life. That I realized that I'm like, who is that person? I don't like her. And it was because of what I've been through, what I went through, what was on my mind. And it transformed into who I was showing who I was. So it's like, it depends on the person, what they're going through at the time, what they're going through in their life. And I was nasty.
Did you ever feel compelled to go back and apologize to those business owners?
I cussed out the 7-Eleven attendant. And I went back.
Some
'cause I felt-
reputation?
No, I was trying to buy something and she was asking me for my ID and I'm like, lady, give me what I need because I got to go. And I was very nasty, very nasty. I mean, my facial expressions, everything, cursed out, everything. It ate me up so bad because my mother didn't raise me like that. So I went back and I apologized. She was like, when she saw me, she thought I was probably coming to shoot up the place. But I came back and I just was like, I'm so sorry for the way that I spoke to you. I was going through something. Had a bad day and I took that out on you. And she hugged me and was like, thank you. No one has ever done that for me. And you gotta treat people the way you want to be treated. And when I do things that I'm not proud of, I have to go back and apologize. Because, we all make mistakes.
You gotta set that balance.
Yeah.
Well, I know we also talked about, energy, and I think
I just wanted to talk briefly on what was said earlier. I think also what's wrong, well, not wrong, but what may be affecting us as well is that we have these conversations in these small groups. So our consumers don't hear this. Like someone said, and it brought me back to my job. So I work in campaign, finance, PAC management, whatever. And my coworkers have this assumption of what I do because they themselves don't do it. It's two people that do the same job, me and another lady that do the same exact job for over 100 some clients. And they have this assumption that I just sit at my desk and I just type, which is far more involved than what they believe, but because they don't know what I do, and I've suggested several times because I get frustrated at how people come and talk to me about what they need. I understand what you need, but so does everybody else that does your job. It's 10 of you guys, with the 2 of us. You guys may have 10 clients per person, where me and her have 150 plus between, we have over 300 some clients. So we split those 2 in between the 2 of us. And I've asked management several times, can we at least walk them through what our day looks like? Because they assume that we do so little versus what we might actually do. And I'm in a crafting group on Facebook now, and a lot of people do the t-shirts or the traveling mugs or things like that. And I see the process they have to go through, and you're like, dang, $50 for this t-shirt. You mad. But sis did a lot to get this t-shirt worked on. You know what I'm saying? It's handmade. Like, you have to take into consideration, just like this sister here doing jewelry. That's her hands, that's her work. It's like, I paint, something I started as a therapeutic thing that has kind of blossomed into something else. But people don't understand the time that takes. It's not necessarily the canvas or the paint. It's my time, the dedication that I put into this, the love, the thought process, the energy that I put on this canvas to deliver something to you. And then I come back and I'm like, hey, here you go. And now you don't want to pay for it because you feel like my artwork isn't worth you what you thought it was worth. But that's fine. It'll stay right here until the person that's meant to receive this will receive it. I'm not going to negotiate anything, because I know that I put the time. I know what went into this. You may not see it, but I welcome you. Come in. You want to see how I do things? Come over. We can have a paint session. I have no problem with that. But it's a lot more involved than what you think it is, and I think that is a part of it too. The consumers don't see what we go through. So we can have this conversation till we blue in the face. But until we step outside of that and invite them in to maybe see the steps behind it, see what goes into our process, maybe then they'll appreciate, because everybody can do it too. Or they can find somebody that could do it cheaper. Well, go ahead. And when your sleeves fall off or your earring come out or when the paint start peeling, good job, sis, you got it, but they don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a firm believer, 9 times out of 10, if you've never gone through it, you don't fully understand it. So we're all entrepreneurs, business people, so we understand each other. I feel your pain, but the average person, they never did that. They don't feel our pain. So we can keep having these conversations, but when do we take it outside and let these people see us And maybe then, you know, cause your friends, yes, your friends see you, cause girl, I can't come to your event cause I got this deadline. Or I can't do, yeah, your friends gonna be like, okay, girl, I understand. But that consumer you're trying to reach may not get it because they don't understand meal prepping. You know, and most of us fail at meal prepping, so you should get more because Lord knows I've tried a million times. It don't work. And by Wednesday, I'm like, I don't eat this.
And to her point, I think it's about us, it's like, I am my brother's keeper. Like you as an entrepreneur know, so when a girlfriend of yours comes and complains about pricing, that's your opportunity, not only to speak
it's
up
always
for
a
her,
conversation.
but to speak up so that she knows and so that people around, because it starts with us, you know, we have to take responsibility and be accountable
Absolutely.
as it is.
Absolutely.
No, they're doing great. To touch on her point right there, it's amazing because I had an individual come to me for a quote. And I said, okay, great, send me the details with exactly what you need, for how many people, and then we can talk about the food and pricing. Never heard back from them, right? They go to my good friend, who's like my mentor in the catering business, and get the food from him. Then go and run a complaint to someone that I know about his pricing, and the guy comes to me, he's like, yeah, you know, he was charging this and that. I said, that's right. I said, y'all don't understand what it takes to get, okay, this little individual meal from going to buy the food, prepping the food, cooking the food, packaging the food, and they had to drive 2 hours to deliver the food. So his pricing was right because had that person come back to me, it would have been the same thing. I said, what I need you not to do is try to tear down another business, especially within our own community. And I find that a lot, even on social media. You know, I had someone comment when I put the flyer on my stories. They hit the smiley face with the tears and sent that to me in my DM. I'm like,
Wow.
I wanted to ask why.
I would've.
Because I was I was pissed because I'm like, here it is, this is an event for us to help each other. And here it is, I have someone in our own community trying to tear this down. So I didn't even feed into it because I was like, I don't even want to deal with that energy. I don't even want to set my day off like that because I'm like, if I see him in person, I'm gonna pull up a screenshot. So explain this real quick. You
But
know,
I think that's a missed opportunity, Ryan. That's a missed opportunity to train or to teach or to tell someone, hey,
Because we got
X, Y, and Z. We are responsible for each other.
right.
And I think as a community, as a culture, and as a race, we are hurting. We are hurting. And you guys are leaders. And you have to not only serve the food, do the hair, provide the clothes. You are responsible. You are our teachers. That's why we called you together. So we're not all ideal consumers. We don't know what goes on behind closed doors. Because not only did you talk about that, but you got time away from your wife, time away from your daughter that we're not even considering. Teach us, tell us, show me. I am guilty of being the piss poor customer. $350. Oh no, we going to America's Best Wings. We can get 50 wings for $30. You know, I'm guilty of that, but then when I sit and I hear, then I see on your story, well, he got a daughter, you know, he want to take her, and I'm like, I got a kid too. You know, I got to consider all that, so we can't just sit around here and say, we crabs in the barrel, or we have the negative energy, or we this, we that. Take that opportunity and teach us. Don't wait till you see him in person. What's so funny? Like, share that energy. You gotta exude your positive energy out into the community. And it may be easier said than done. I don't have a service for a reason. I can't do that. So it's easier said than done, but I do want you all to know that you are leaders. You're not just business owners. You are leaders in our community. And we are setting an example. I have my son out there. He's watching. We got a black man out here doing this. This is a black woman's space. You know, look at us come together. You go to high school, you see the fist fighting, the this, the that. You know, I want you to see this. So we gotta be, or y'all have to be responsible too as those business owners. Don't drop those balls. Don't just say, this is not for you. Why? Why isn't it for me? Because then they gonna turn around, they're gonna go to Kmart, they're gonna go to Walmart. Oh, Ryan said this is not for me. They don't need my dollar. You treating us like Gucci just without the face. You're doing your own disservice. Go ahead, sorry.
Anyway.
So just really quickly, so I hear what you're saying. For the most part, I agree with that. The only part that I don't agree with is sometimes you have to protect yourself before dealing with somebody else. So I mean, I don't know what kind of day we're having or whatever else, but you know, it's choosing your battles, because sometimes, you know, I can't engage with this because my cup is so empty. If I pour out anything, my cup is gonna be in the negative if that's even possible. So,
It's possible.
right. So it is absolutely important that we share that message, that we hold people accountable, that we hold ourselves accountable. But we also have to make sure that we are keeping ourselves healthy and, you know, just not going into that space where the energy is gonna fully drain you. I think it's just really important.
But when you say that, keeping ourselves, or feeding, what did you say, keeping ourselves healthy, or, you know, you gotta realize it's not just the food that we're eating, it's the things that we're watching, the people that we're listening to, the places that we're going. We have to start every day in our life, we have to start putting some time into us.
Holistically.
Yes, holistically, because we are spiritual beings. So we have to start feeding ourselves something to stay on that level, stay on that frequency. Because right now we're vibrating at a frequency of the 3 or dimension 3. It's 11 dimensions. You understand what I'm saying? We are in 3. That's a problem. And for us to hear our ancestors, for us to feel our ancestors, they have to travel down to a dimension 3 for us to feel that energy and love. We need to elevate as a whole. And the way we do that is what we're putting into ourselves is what we're gonna exude out. So we have to just live, and I preach this to my children, we have to live in love, walk in love, and our intentions have to be pure. We can't have selfish intentions, we can't have biased intentions, because it's not gonna work. You know what I mean? We can't help one another being biased, can't help one another being selfish and competing with one another. We have to be loving, and that's the answer to everything I feel. Because I feel like if we don't love, what's the opposite of love is hate.
And keeping in mind, keeping in mind that love also means tough love.
Correct.
That it means holding people to a higher standard, and it means saying no.
Correct.
So there may be
Without
times
an explanation.
without
Exactly.
explanation, no period. Because there are times when you have to say this isn't for you, and it may not be. It's not for you forever, but it's not for you right now, and it's not for you where I am. Like, this is just not gonna work. And, you know, maybe then we give, and maybe we do give some sort of explanation, not to justify our actions, but to help them understand, so that if they wanna make a change, they can do that.
Yeah.
So,
We all have free will, you know what I mean, willpower to do whatever we want to do or to make the right decision. It's just taking that step to do that, you know, but that seems to be a bit hard because sometimes people don't want to do the right thing. Sometimes people want to intentionally hurt you. And that's where I go like, how, Sway?
I think sometimes people don't know either. So I listened to Miss Education Lauryn Hill till it probably broke when it was on CD. And it's a skit at the end of one of the songs. And there's a young lady on there and she says, well, maybe they don't even know what love is. They don't know, their love doesn't look like your love. Their love was tough love, but it wasn't the constructive tough love. My dad gave tough love, but it wasn't necessarily the right tough love. And you know what I mean about the borderline abusive tough love, but that's what he knew. That was what when I got to, I fantasized my grandfather. My grandfather was like the greatest thing. Granddaddy was amazing to me. My father was like, I don't know who you know, but that ain't that man. And when I got to learn who my grandfather was to my father, I understood a better him, because I thought my father was the warden growing up. But learning about what love he received and how he received that love, he didn't know no other love. So what he did was he passed that love down to me and my brothers. And what I did was say, I don't want that. So when I had my kids, I did the opposite of that because it didn't feel good to me. But sometimes people don't know another love. So everything is an educational moment because we can say, oh, we gotta do better. We can say this. I know how to meditate. I had to research that. We don't know how to elevate ourselves because we aren't taught that. We have this expectation of our people that they're supposed to know this, they're supposed to know that.
But that's when people come in and they can say, well, since I know how to meditate, I'll help you.
Yeah,
I'll have a meditation
and at the
class.
same time, they have to be receptive to that. They have to know that that's what they need in their life. I was talking to my son's father, and I was telling him about, I told him he needed to sage himself. I said, you need to get that, and you need to change that energy. And then at the end of the conversation, I said, you know what? That may not be for you, but I recommend you try it, at least to say, let me cross that off my list. But if we're not taught that, my mother didn't sage, my mother didn't, do those things. She did other things that I carry with me now, but as far as that, and then to hop over, mental health issues. Black community, I don't know why it's so hard for us to believe that we have mental health issues. We don't want to talk to nobody. We don't want to get no help. I don't want to talk to them people. They ain't just going to take my money. You don't know until, but that's my point. But until you know better, you can't do better. So we have these expectations of one another to do better. And all we're doing is walking around as hurt people, and we continuing to hurt people. We have grown children masquerading as adults, and they don't know no better because they're not taught no better, but they're also not opening themselves up to the knowledge of it. And you have to want that. You have to want the peace within. You can't be peace to nobody else if you're not peace to yourself. Like that's golden. You have to want that. Until you want that. It took me to hit rock bottom, about to get real. Like, I was on the cusp of, I'm talking about suicidal. I was ready to go. And I had to look at myself and say, you know what? I got these kids. Who gonna raise these kids if I take myself out? Remember, your parents are why you here. They weren't the parents you needed them to be. They were the parents you got. But if you take yourself out, these same people who put you in this pattern are gonna raise your kids. And at that point, I was like, oh, what is the purpose? I need outside help, because your friends can't help you. These people went to school, got certified. If that person ain't the right person, let's move on to the next person. There's somebody out here that can assist you, but you have to be ready to move on to that. And I think that's a part of our problem as a community. One, we won't even accept it. You have to, for me, until I say it outside my mouth, like I verbalize these words, it's not real. So I can keep faking the funk that everything is cool, but then when I say that, now I'm, okay, it's a different programming now. And I think that's where we are. I mean, I see the shift. It's so many groups on Facebook now about meditation, mental health, and so many things coming up. I saw a young lady in a lot group that I'm in. She has a mental health app. There's so many people that are trying, and it took this generation. They talk about millennials all the time, but I think we're moving. It's a shift happening. It may not happen within us right now, but we gotta help these babies, because if y'all see what's coming out of these babies, they don't have no hope. So you can meditate, you can do all you want, but what are you doing to reach back? Because those are the people that's gonna take care of us when we get old, and we have to save them too. Our people's, like he said, we weren't taught that, but we got that knowledge now. We gonna sit on it? What we gonna do with it?
We gotta break our paradigms.
And I think a lot of times, we can all agree that there are several issues to this. But one of the things that I've just learned is it starts with you. You do what you can do. And a lot of times, I'm originally from Portland, Oregon, and this type of environment is very new to me because in Oregon, there's not very many black people, so the black people that are there, you stuck together.
Right.
If I had resources, you had resources. That's not something that, it was just automatic. You knew. If I was at a restaurant, there was probably only 3 black people in the restaurant. At any given point, I knew where each black person was. I never even met them before, but I knew where they were, and that's just how I grew up, so it's ingrained in me. When I came here, this is my business partner, Kelly. When we started our business, I would get so upset because I would say, how could these people help? They have the means to help. We've proven that we're professional. We're proving that our customer service is excellent. We have the quality products. How could they, you see all these people on Facebook, they come in and say, oh, this is nice, but I'm not gonna tell nobody. I don't want nobody to know. And you're like, well, how will we grow? How can we share if you're not willing to help? And so what I say when I'm listening to everybody is that it starts with you. When we work together, there was a time we had an incident. We have other boutiques that we work with. We will partner and say, come to our shop, you sell to our customers. And we had not a food truck, but
a boutique.
A truck boutique, yeah. And our customer said, you want us to go say something? They out there selling clothes.
They're going and kissed you. And it was like, no, we called her to come over. Oh, y'all did. I mean, that's competition, right? Now, the mindset of us is all wrong. Because when we talk to other our mentors who are the other race, they're like, we like consignment, we like boutiques to be all on the same row, on the same street. Because they said, how can KFC, Popeyes, this is what I like, they're saying KFC, Popeyes be on the same street and they still can flourish. But when we talk, I don't want you to be down the street from me. Why not? Because we're not going to have all the clothes. We're not going to have, I mean, there's so many people. I mean, and my partner is number person. So she's like, how many people?
It's millions of people in there. You mean to tell me 3 of us can't sell 12 outfits? My boutiques are, they buy in small quantities. 6 outfits here, 6 outfits.
But you see the Asians, they're popping up with trends at all these places because they buy it in bulk. But if we call somebody and say, look, let's buy it in bulk, and then we split it, and then they like,
No.
And I mean, they look at us like we crazy. And I'm like, are we crazy? I'm like, competition. I'm thinking wrong. It's a mindset shift. I know I'm coming in late. I don't know what the original question is, but it's a mindset shift change that needs to happen.
But I think from what I was saying was people see that you do it, and then we've seen a lot of people partnering. Now the newest thing is let's partner, let's collaborate. You see it all. And I don't care. I mean, who cares? As long as you're doing it, because you
if
only
you're really doing it.
Yeah, and then you win. It's a win-win.
Absolutely.
How could if I come up, say you do art?
Yes, ma'am.
And I put your art in my store, and you somehow we can blow up, and we got 8 locations. You work with me from the beginning. I'm putting your stuff in my store. I'm not gonna go find no other artist, and then I'm really gonna pay you. I'm not gonna just pay the little peanuts I was paying because I didn't have the money. But then I'm gonna really pay you. But people say, "Oh shoot, they growing."
Now they want to get on. But
Yeah.
we asked you.
Yeah.
Can you help us? No, but now, okay, we have changed the color of the wall.
Yes.
And it's seriously, you come in the store, you can see the growth potential if you were from the beginning, but on our social media page, like you take pictures in front of this wall now, because you just like, is this a wall like this? And they're like, oh, do you ever think about renting out this space? We've been renting out our space for 5 years. We even giving it for free. Actually, people come in there for free, but because they see this wall, they're like, oh.
They even said, "Oh, we see you doing big things over there." And we like, that's paint on the wall. But it shows you that people are watching. So they don't say it with their mouth. I'm watching you and I'm seeing it. We have people come in the store and say, we've been watching y'all for 4 years. We ain't think y'all was gonna make it. So we ain't come. But y'all still here. So now I'm here. And you're like, well, why don't you go back where you came from? Because we don't need you. That we needed you when we was first open. Yeah, so I think it really starts with us and us being pioneers and showing and sticking up for one another. When you hear somebody saying something, that's your opportunity to say, wait a second, because I do it. A girl made cheesecake, and her cheesecake was $40. I don't eat cheesecake. but I probably wouldn't pay $40 for cheesecake, but my girlfriend loves cheesecake. And she said, that's expensive. I could go to Cheesecake Factory and get it for $28. And I said, well, wait a second. I said, Cheesecake Factory and a person who's making, that's completely different. You
And they
can't
don't make
compare the
it,
two.
Cheesecake Factory don't make it at the factory.
No,
they
don't.
have a factory
And
that
the
they
problem
ship
is
it
the
to.
girl let the stuff
So-
set for 2 days.
Yeah.
So it's not like she
Yeah.
just, whipping up something and throwing together. So I said, wait, you need to understand what
Right.
goes in. She said,
And that's
oh, I
right.
never thought about that.
Yeah.
And that was an opportunity. I ain't gonna say the word with that little message I gave her, but that's one person down. And
Absolutely.
then hopefully that person will tell somebody else.
Absolutely.
Because you don't know. When I was, Kelly will laugh at me. We have this black hairstyle. I'm from Oregon. The shop black stuff, I didn't really do that because we ain't had a lot of black businesses.
Right.
So we just shop wherever you shop. It was a black hairstyle by my house. They weren't open on Sundays. We're really busy during the week, so my hair day is on Sundays. They were never open. I never went. I would go to the Asian spot, and then one day I saw that they were open on Sundays. I went to the spot and I stood out there. They didn't open on time. And this is gonna tell you how critical I am as a consumer, because black people are really hard on other black people.
Yeah.
Like, we are extremely hard.
Yeah.
And we don't forgive. One black person messed it up,
Yeah.
I ain't shopping with nobody.
Yeah.
So I stood out there. I left the Asian store. I said, oh my God, they're open. I can go. I left the Asian store because now I'm a black business. So now I want everybody to treat me like but I wasn't doing that for everybody before. I want to make sure I'm clear. So I made the conscious decision. I said, I'm gonna go to the black store. I went. They were not open. I sat out there for like 10 minutes. They came, and I said, I was outside. I was ready to be done with them. I mean, I called her. I mean, I was upset because I'm real with punctuality and all that stuff. So, and he said, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. We rang up. I went there again. After that, I was convicted, and I said, I'm gonna give them another try. Next thing you know, I went. They wasn't there again. And I said, this is the second time I'm there. He said, I'm sorry. But what I realized was, how many times has somebody come to my door and I had to run and get my kids, or I had to go do something? I'm not Target. Target had 80,000 employees.
Yes.
I'm one person. If it don't work, I'm not there. So how can I be so critical when I've been in the same situation? Fast forward. We became good friends. We started sharing information. I mean, like, oh, you got this system, let's do this. I mean, just completely open. Whatever I got, you got.
Education.
One day we were in the store. I left my bank card. I couldn't find this bank card. They was getting ready to close. He said, just take it. And I said, no, I don't want to just. He said, just take it. I trust you. And I thought, I'm going to have my husband call and just pay over the phone. He said, I trust you. Just go ahead. Where am I going? Target ain't going to let me walk out.
Hello?
With that, it's an opportunity. That's one of the blessings of being in your community. Nobody doing that. The Asian people ain't letting me walk out the store without me. If they ain't put me out because I don't have my car.
Right.
So and that taught me a very valuable lesson. We have discernment. There's some people you will extend grace and mercy to, and then there's others that you won't. But it's individual. I don't treat every black person like that, because every black person, some people gonna come back, others aren't. Just because, and I made sure by the time I got home, my husband had paid over the phone, because I was like, I felt so like I didn't want to misuse that. I didn't want him to say, I'll let her do it, and I didn't come back, and then he wouldn't extend it to the next person who needs it. We did an event recently for furloughed employees, and we were so excited that we were in a position to give a meal to furloughed employees. I'm a bleeding heart, I think, but I'm bleeding heart. But the funny thing is, that, so we had an RSVP. We started out with 30 seats, and then we extended it to 40. When it came down to, I was turning people away because people were coming who weren't on the list. There was a lady and her child there, and I said, no. I said, at least give me 5 minutes just to make sure that everybody gets seated. She left. Probably about maybe about 20 minutes later, we got all the people seated. About 15 to 20 people didn't show up.
That RSVP.
RSVP, and I was so upset because I said, these people, we said people in need. Don't RSVP if you do not need a meal. This was for people who didn't have a means to eat. And I was so upset because I'm like, they knew that they didn't you knew you wanted to come.
Extend the courtesy
To at least call and
Okay,
say,
not
hey,
come
let
and
somebody
get
else.
somebody else.
And then I turned away a lady and her kid. You know, and of all the good we did, I remember the lady and the kid that I turned away. But the lesson for me was, I'm not turning away a lady and a kid. No, we just gonna have to figure out extra. If I had to go to Giant to get extra, I would have done that. But just because people misuse it, that doesn't mean we're not gonna do another event. That doesn't mean that you don't extend the courtesy, because there are other people who are gonna be grateful and, oh my God. And we got a thank you card. Some people said, you know, thank you, really appreciate it, we really needed it. So you feel good in the end, but at the end of the day, it really starts and ends with you. We can't control mental health, and I mean, we can raise a whole bunch of issues, which are all true. You can't control any of those, you just gotta do what you can do, and that's your little footprint. And hopefully from you, it will, you know, it expand, and she'll pick up on it, and then you'll have a
Because when
community.
you have that light within you, people are gonna see you and be like, what are you doing differently? Why are you shining so bright? Well, your skin looks amazing. What are you doing? You know what I'm saying?
But the story actually takes us back to a theme of a meme that Carmen and I were talking about earlier, and it was saying that you've never heard a white person say, I'm not going to go back and support this white business. But you will hear a black consumer who's had one bad experience, that head stop, I'm never going back to a black, I'm always going to the Asians, because they did at 9 a.m. But now it's no excuse to be late. But like we said earlier in the conversation, the resources are different. You know, there's a lot that plays into why he was late. But as a business owner, they have to also be responsible and accountable for themselves. Some of the takeaways that I've gotten from the conversation is that we have to educate each other. And I think those are things that we knew, but what we are trying to, I guess, get an answer to is how, when, what do we have to do to start educating?
I think it starts here. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think it starts here because Latoya and I had a conversation and we were like, oh, I want to know what these numbers look like. This is a free event. Free.
With food.
With food. You know, people love free, love food.
And wine is wine.
And wine. You know, so the RSVP started to roll in, right? But this is a moment with everybody, like this room really should be filled. Should be full.
But you know what? People are so afraid of supporting one another, especially the people that we went to high school with. We all know the people that we went to high school with, right? So with that being said, we should be doing way better because we know better and we know who we're dealing with. You understand what I'm saying?
But how do we get there?
I feel.
No, I just want to. Oh, I'm sorry. I just want to say something to your point. The room should be filled. The room is filled with the people that are meant to be here. I feel like it goes back to the consumers. The person that is meant to buy your product that's going to buy your product. They're not going to haggle you. They're not going to give you. The people that were meant to be in this room, it's filled with the people that's meant to be here. We all RSVP. We all knew the time. I had to put it on my calendar. I'm pretty sure everybody else had to put it on their calendar. We stopped our day. We were meant to be here. We were meant to get this message. We were meant to receive this energy. We were meant to be here to connect. They didn't come. Maybe they'll be at the next event. Maybe our footprint here will go back on social media. Girl, the Dhons meeting was the bomb. We learned so much. So then that triggers them. I need to be at that next event. I need to be at that. I need
The train is moving.
Hey, with you or without you, we are leaving the station.
We left the
it's
station.
okay. You had 20,000 people to RSVP, or you had the 20 of us that's here. These people were meant to be here.
And then from here, we can grow together.
Absolutely.
You understand? We can collaborate and grow together and get bigger audiences and do things differently, the same, however differently, because we'll be in a different location. It's summertime is coming. We got, how many minds we got ahead? We got a whole bunch of minds ahead that we can put together and come up with something to reach masses. You understand? I'm big in the community, the Caribbean community. That's one entity alone. And that's thousands, probably you got 5,000, 6,000 people in the DMV. Because when we throw in hooky, you know hooky. When we throw in hooky, the whole RFK Stadium.
What's the
Hooky, that's
another
Okay.
conversation.
We'll be in later, 'cause I don't know what y'all
I'll be
talking
there.
about. All right, that's good.
I'll be there.
We can do, it's just what, you guys are American, it's just so many different people that we can touch by just who we know. I'm from New York, we can have an event in New York, my dad owns, it's just a lot of things we can put our mind together, we can do, you know, we just gotta use our resources and not be afraid to talk to people. Cause I feel like we are afraid to talk to one another, even going to the grocery store. People think I'm weird because everywhere I go, hello everyone, how are you guys doing? Because I'm a social one, I'm gonna speak to you, because that's how I was brought up.
That's true.
So it's like, people look at me crazy all the time, like, "Shit, you smiling and talking to me? You talking to me? Yes, I'm talking. Good luck. Hello, how are you? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you afraid
Looking
to
at you
talk?
crazy when you
Yeah, like, I got something on my face or something, like, why are you afraid to talk?
It's currencies like that that the black consumer needs to see on a daily basis when they shop black, because we don't respect those currencies, like being able to go get your children and things. So he's late because maybe his wife is somewhere else. She has to be on a 9 to 5, and they're new. Other cultures have a 500-year head start on what we're trying to do and what we are doing. I read an article that stated that there hasn't been a boom in black business like it is now since the Harlem Renaissance. That's crazy. And they're filled with black women. You know, we need to get on board, you know, and find that pathway through success. And I'm starting to hear that it's odd to mimic the exception to the rule. And black women are now the exception to the rule, where they say, well, what you couldn't do, and you can't do this, but now the highest graduates in college and entrepreneurship. So it's conversations like this that need to keep happening, because they often say that in lies the solution to inside the problem. So we have to dissect what's going on to then find our next point.
I agree.
I think how we teach others is there's a viewpoint that our community has. And it's like, okay, if you're up here, I'm gonna support everything you do.
That's true.
I see that now more than ever by working in catering and culinary. There are certain dishes that I have on my menu, I could create, and I'll see some of the more popular chefs posted and people are going crazy over it, right? I see it in clothing, I see it in jewelry, I see it all over, and it's like, you know, I know one guy, I went to middle school with him, and his clothing line is pretty dope, Screwed Apparel. But it's like, he's not up here with the Gucci's and the Pradas and all that. So it's like people see, oh, well, that's $60. Yeah, but you're gonna go pay $200 a product. For a belt. That, God forbid, your kid takes a pair of scissors and cuts it in half. You know, I think, you know what I'm saying, we have to break that barrier down first. That our product, our service is just as good as what you get at the big time retailers. Because people, they may not understand the processes, because the big time retailers, they go through the same processes, but they're serving masses. You know, we go through the same process, and we know they'll be serving anywhere between 10 people to 200 people. And the cost is a big difference on our end compared to the big retailers. So it's like, it's forums like this that will help, but at the same time, there has to be some type of way to get people to understand what we have to do to get to this end point. All right, this is let's just say that bottle of water, you made that bottle of water from scratch. I mean, you made the bottle, the cap, the label, you filtered the water. People need to understand that part.
Well, go ahead.
I think it's about storytelling. That's perfect. When you're doing your Insta stories and when you're writing on your website, I don't know all the marketing avenues you have, but tell your story. You tell about the work that you do and all the time that it comes in just by doing what you just did. Like, people are, wow, I didn't know. Like, if you notice, like, it's about storytelling, and they're so inclined to hear stories because you're not selling. You're saying, oh my God, I prepared this today. It took me 3 hours. I flew my ingredients from China, wherever you know. But tell the story. When we do things, we used to do a lot of stuff. We go over and above, and nobody knew that we were going over and And I said, we need to start getting credit for what we do. And what I mean by credit is you make a choice. We make a choice to go over and be above because customer service is very important to us. So I'm not gonna make you feel bad that we've done extra, but I'm gonna let you know that I've done extra. So that you're clear, when you come here, this is what you're getting versus when you go there. And it's just simple things like that. If I've extended you a courtesy, if your stuff was supposed to be picked up today and you came a week later and I'm gonna give it back to you because I'm giving you a courtesy, not because.
But I think in our business, some of the people know that because they go to other consignments and they know, but they treat us differently because we're African American. You're not challenging those other people there. We authenticate all our bags. We do extra because we don't want anybody to say, oh, they selling this, it's not real, or whatever. But I've gone to some of the other counterparts and they have fake stuff in there. And you know it, you can see it, but people would support them. So it's just about, I just feel that each, like you said, I'm saying the same thing. It's just one person. Like you tell your story, you do your storytelling one person at a time. And like you were saying, this place should be filled. It should be. I mean, I don't know which one does the posting and the write-up. I mean, I loved it. When you whoever reached out, I was like, wow, I didn't know. So reach out more, and then the people who's supposed to be here will be here, and then it will grow. And unfortunately, it's also, who was there? Like, let me see who was in the photo op or whatever. We don't get into that. I mean, now we just worried about the wrong thing. Just you keep doing this and it'll grow. And then those people, I'm telling you, they're gonna come. And then I don't know how I'm like, I'm working on myself because then I'm like, I don't want you. She's like, no, don't be that. But it's just like, I tried to be, when we were nobodies, I guess, on the scene or whatever. But you just have to keep having these type of engagements and they will grow because they're important and people see importance and people will see the storytelling and how this birthed into something mega big and now you want, to get on board. But I mean, it always has to be that one person. Unfortunately, I see that has to come out and say, yeah, I was there, and that already has the following or somebody people already trust, but then you meet them and they are nobody like they have put on the Instagram, and so then you get disappointed, and then you're just like, so the right people, I think, are here too. I would definitely agree with that, because one of our first,
oh my God,
it was one person, what was two people?
It was two,
and we posted like, terrible. It was terrible. But we laughed the whole time. I don't know why we were laughing. But we were laughing. And then you just don't let that stop you. Because you have a product, you have a service, you have something you want to say, to share. You're going to get the right people, and you're going to impact the people that's supposed to be impacted. You just have to just keep doing day by day something.
Well, it sounds like the two of you wrote your own meaning to success, and that's why you guys were happy about the turnout or whatever the case is. And I find that the reason why the black consumer will nick and pick at the black business is because we get our self-esteem from European culture. So we have to find that love and meaning of success in ourselves, which means that we'll treat one another a lot better. We'll spend our own money with another brother or sister versus going outside our community and purchasing goods.
Really quickly, go ahead.
So it's kind of to your point, and also to what you said about like the whole product, purchasing that versus something handmade. I hadn't read, sometimes I remember it. But the reason I think that people do that, which is also what you were saying, is that, so there is this fear of missing out, right? Missing the trend, and then like, why is that important? So yes, there are the cultural standards that we ascribe to, but there's also like a vetting, you know, and part of me feels like that's where people's laziness comes into play. Because if 50 million people say this is quality, well then I can just trust it, and I don't have to do my own research.
Right.
And I can just do that, everybody says it's good, and then I'm good to go. Versus, oh, this is a new thing that's on, I'm already not really trusting, I don't know, you know, if this is quality, I don't feel like dealing with that. And so, I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, how can I grow if people aren't helping me grow? You know, and it's, you just have to find those people who are more pioneer consumers, I guess, who are willing to try those things that, you know, I guess the road less traveled. And so whatever incentive comes along with that. But I think that that's, you know, a great place to target is those people who are fearless and trying new things.
Okay. I'm sorry. So we have to wrap it up really quickly. I'm so sorry, but we want to thank everybody that came. We want to give y'all time to shop at the vendor tables that were here. And I think my co-host wants everyone to...
Really quickly, because we had some people coming after we started, if everybody could go around and highlight your business, what you provide, and can we make a commitment here today to keep this relationship working?
Sure.
Starting with our catering.
Ryan Thompson, Savage East Kitchen and Catering, specialize in private events, private chef events, weddings, baby showers, graduation cookouts, pretty much do it all.
Hello, my name is Rochelle Oden. I have a company called Are You Ready School of Etiquette and Media Training. I teach children table manners. I teach them how to properly handshake, how to introduce themselves, and I also teach athletes how to do media interviews. I did 20 years in the Navy. I was a Navy spokesperson, so I know about telling a story. And now I'm telling my story. So, but I partner with a lot of nonprofit. Well, I go to schools, I go to churches, tea parties, things that our children are not learning. So we learn manners, we learn proper behavior in restaurants, athletic events, and I teach children how to socialize and not on social media.
Hello everybody, Aliyah Rocker, Rocks and Glitter, Blanket Rocket. So it's handmade jewelry. I do custom designs as well, men, women, children, pets if you ask.
Sure, Steve already spoke, but I'm Kelly Queen, the other half of New Digs Consignment, and we sell women clothing, handbags, shoes, everything.
Mid to high end.
I'm Sadiqa. Thank you.
I'm Sage, everyone. I have a hair company where I sell hair extensions, wigs, lashes. That's just one of the business. I'm in the process right now of opening the online store called The Knapsack, and that will be women's clothing, women's clothing, children's, computers, AirPods, cases, everything. I want to be, I don't want to say that word. I want to have a general store so we can stop going to the CVS's and the Walmarts and the Amazon. I'm cool with because I have Amazon too. But I'm just, you know, just trying to feed us, our people, our community. So that's what I'm doing. Multiple streams.
Are we sneaking around here? Okay. So my name is Lauren Michelle. I'm actually the single Dhons sister. I own Luxurious. It's a natural hair salon. And under the auspices of that company, I have created a product line of skin and body products. I do a lot of other stuff too, like a lot of stuff. So a lot of stuff. T-shirts and things. I'm currently trying to secure a deal with the African American History Museum to get some stuff going on. I share a little bit with Toya about it. It's an awesome idea, so hopefully they pick it up and they roll with it. So, but I do a lot. This is my daughter Mia. She works with me. She's one of the reasons why I work so hard, why sometimes I don't sleep, so that one day she can have something for maybe if I have some grandkids when she's 50.